Hey, how's it going, guys? Jared Saunders, school psychologist here, and today I'm going to talk to you about response cost interventions, specifically using a response cost strip as part of a raffle system. All right, let's go ahead. Before we start doing that, let's get into the idea of what is response cost. In short, response cost is just a way to shape behavior by removing something positive from the child after he or she has demonstrated the negative behavior that you are attempting to change. Now, one way we can do this is with the response cost strip intervention that we're about to go over. Let's get into it. What do you need to do this intervention? You're going to need to start off with a strip that looks kind of something like this. And you're also going to need a form to be able to record and collect data so that we can progress monitor how the child is doing throughout the span of this intervention. Because it is a raffle as well, you're going to need some form of ticket here. Okay. Before you start, you got to collect a baseline. All right. This is incredibly important. Oftentimes, when I present interventions to teachers, I really see that eagerness to jump in and get things going. But I got to tell them, look, just hold off a little bit, because if you really want to know and be able to demonstrate that this is an effective intervention, we need to get a nice, clear snapshot of what the behavior looks like before we start the intervention. Right? And if we have that snapshot, and then we have a snapshot of what behavior looks like during the intervention and throughout it, really we're able then to determine whether or not it was effective for the child. Baseline data, absolutely critical to the progress monitoring portion of what we're doing here, critical for PBIS, okay? Let's take a look at the form I created in order to accomplish this, okay? Now, the idea of baseline data, because that response cost strip is going to represent the number of prompts that are given before the positive is lost, we are going to record prior to the intervention starting how many prompts did the student receive by the teacher within the time blocks that we've created here. Okay. In doing so, it is important that you record the numbers. It is also important that this is collected before we introduce the response cost strip or we have any discussion at all about the intervention coming. Also, when you're writing this down, do not discuss this with the student as you're writing it down. Best practices indicate we need a minimum of 3 days of baseline data before we start an intervention. That's what we need to determine effectiveness, but 4 is preferable, okay? Now, in my district, we got compact days on Wednesdays. So I've created my baseline form and even my progress monitoring forms so that we are looking at Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and a lot of the data is kind of collected and disaggregated and stuff. We do that on Wednesdays, okay? So here you have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday set up, and you're just simply recording the number of prompts. You may have noticed up here, the second point under baseline data, it does say that if the child is prompted more than 5 times during a time block, just record greater than 5. Okay, that's just to simplify things, because the way the intervention is working, we're going to see effectiveness if that is the case, because our response cost strip has 5 prompts to it. So you can do that if you need to, if you're having a hard time keeping track, or if you're trying to collect data with multiple kids. It's one way just to try and make it easier for you. All right. All right. So once we've done that, we do need to train the child on how to do the intervention, right? And that training process is basically going to come natural, I think, after you watch this video. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. When we start off with implementation, you need to first review expectations with the child, okay? My bad. Let's look here. These are our expectations. I will be respectful by following directions. So if the child is not following directions, that's when they get a prompt, right? I will show responsibility by staying on task and completing my work. So if they're not on task, prompt, token removed. I will show how to be safe by using kind words, okay? And again, if they're not using safe language, you can remove the token from their board. So these are examples of behaviors. Of course, this can be individualized, but this is what we have. Whatever you are, by the way, whatever you are going to be targeting, please do connect it to the terms that are used in your Tier 1 PBIS system in the school, okay? At this particular school, we had be respectful, responsible, encouraging, and safe as our kind of motto, if you will. And that's why we tied these together. You should do the same at your school. It just supports the overall system. Okay. After you've done that too, you're also going to want to remind the child what they're working for. All right. So these were our expectations. Here's what I need you to do. Remember, don't get an empty strip and you're going to get a ticket. These are the cool things that you could win in the raffle at the end of the week, and just kind of remind the child of some of those things. All right. Then we're ready to go. All right. Here is a copy of that token board. You notice that they start off here with 5 tokens, and they're doing awesome to start off with. Just as kind of a sidebar note, we also have a 3 token strip here, because how you implement this is going to really depend on what that baseline data looks like. For some of your students, you're going to need a 5 strip token response system. Okay. For others, that might be too much. That might be too many prompts to allow to be given within a time period. And you might want to start with like a 3 strip board. Okay. It really depends. You've got to look at how often a child is being prompted during the day. You got to look at that baseline to figure out where your starting point should be. If you do start with the 5 strip though, a 3 strip process is also good when we get to the point where we're looking to fade the intervention away. Okay, you want to do it a little more systematically by reducing the number of prompts allowed. Nevertheless, for the example that we're going to show here in this video, I am going to start off with a 5 strip system. Okay, so as I said before, the child is doing awesome. So we are going to take away the first token here because Johnny wasn't following directions. All right. And then we take it away, but check it out. Look, he is still doing good, so we don't have to worry too much. Not yet, right? All right, as we go through, we have to give Johnny another prompt. But guess what? He's still fine, okay? 2 tokens have been removed from the board, but he does not yet have an empty token strip. All right. We're just going to kind of play this out a bit, and we're going to remove a few more tokens. And now we're at the point where there is only 1 token left on the board. And as you can see, yeah, he's in danger, right? That's the last token on the strip. He is in danger, but he is still doing okay, all right? He hasn't lost that positive privilege yet. All right. Gee, look at the time. Hey, it's 10 after 10. It's time to go to recess. So the class packs up. Johnny goes to recess. Remember, he's got 1 token left on his board, right? He goes out to recess. He comes back, no issues, no reason to remove that last token. So what does that mean? It means the reinforcement was earned, okay? We are not going to remove anything else from him, all right? He met the expectation, even though there is 1 token on the board. All right, so at this point, we're going to do 2 things. We need to move over to that sheet where we're going to document. And the first thing that we want to do is, this was, again, during that time block of the start of the day up to the end of recess. What we want to do is we want to document how many tokens did we have to remove on this day during this time period, and did the child earn a ticket? So here you can see that 4 tokens were removed, and yes, the child did earn a ticket, all right? Once we've documented that, we're going to give the ticket to the child, of course, and then we're going to come back and we're going to replenish the token board. We are now starting a new block of time, and the child once again has 5 prompts to be able to move through. All right. We are now going to move to the second time period within the day, and we are going to continue and repeat this intervention from the end of recess up to the end of lunch.